Darrell K. Royal Stadium is packed and revved up, ready to make noise for the Texas 1 team will leave here making a big statement. As we'll see the number 2 team in the country, the Georgia Bulldogs, taking on the 6th-ranked team in the land, the Texas Longhorns. Enough, Kirk. Let's get this game going. The Longhorns will kick this away to get us going. And he takes this from inside the 5. And the returner will be brought down. The Bulldogs offense will start in a bad spot here thanks to that return. And Kirk, here comes the star tight end. There's so much emphasis in college football on using this position creatively. And, man, this guy's as good as any of them.
Yeah, you nailed it, Chris. We've seen tight ends have a big impact. Size and power of an offensive lineman. We're looking at a freak out there today. Coaches told us in the pregame production meetings they love this back's mixture of speed and power. We know about the speed. They also showed the ability to break tackles on that run.
From the shotgun, handoff inside. And he'll pick up the first down, stopped at the 27.
Chris, a really good job here by this back to be able to find that hole and pick up the yards for this first down. And, boy, Georgia's had some good backs over the years, and this young man is living up to that tradition today.
Just underway, and this home crowd is fired up and ready to make a difference today. On 1st and 10, they'll look to throw it. Snags the quick throw. Tackled pretty quickly, but that is a decent gain on the throw.
These undersized slot receivers can be some of the toughest guys to contain for a defense. They're quicker than they really are fast, and they're very elusive, tough to contain in these one-on-one matchups.
Important 2nd down play coming up. Shotgun formation. Here's an inside give. And they'll move the 6 on that one. It's a first down to the 42.
Sometimes I almost get mesmerized watching these runners who have great vision. You know, the eyes that carry their feet to the open space, making people miss. I just love watching those guys do work.
The Dogs are moving quickly down the field. Dropping back. It's back. And the pass is intercepted. A takeaway for the defense.
What a costly mistake here by the quarterback. Forces that ball into coverage, and the defense comes up with the interception. Hate to see the game start off like this for this offense.
First down here for this offense. Tight end goes in motion. Gonna run it. It's Blue. Solid gain, moves the ball to the 43.
I tell you, to be able to pick up a nice gain like that, those offensive linemen have to sustain their blocks. Gave him a chance at a really nice gain.
Offense getting set up. Here's 2nd down. Send the back in motion. Makes a quick grab. Defense wraps him up after the catch, but he's just short of a first down. Made the catch, but he was surrounded for not much room to run.
They did a really good job that time of leveraging him out in space. I thought he might have a chance to be able to shake loose because he is so elusive. But defense, as you said, did a really good job in the open field surrounding him. Just nowhere for him to go to pick up any more positive yards.
Caught in the backfield. It's Kellum. Longhorns pick up enough yardage for a fresh set of downs.
Hey, I don't blame the defense here at all, Chris, for bringing the blitz. It's 3rd down and short. You got to get pressure on the quarterback, but you got to tip your cap to this quarterback. I think he was anticipating the blitz, so he's able to get the ball out of his hands quickly and pick up the first down.
Pre-snap motion from the receiver. Keeping it on the ground here. It's a 1-yard gain. 2nd and 9 coming up.
He's tackled at the 48-yard line. Brings up 2nd down.
Quick throw. The catch is made. He's brought down, but not before crossing midfield of the 42.
You know, each receiver brings something a little bit different to the table, Chris. To me, the outside receivers usually are a little bit longer, taller guys. You get those slot receivers in the inside, not only can they make the catch, but they have quickness to make plays after the catch. Great example of that right here.
First down. They're going to throw the football. Makes the grab. It's Moore. They make the tackle, but not before a solid gain on that pass.
Well, you can tell the quarterback knew exactly what he wanted to do with the football. He was going to that end route no matter what. He hits it for a nice gain.
Pass complete. It's 2nd down now. Handoff from the shotgun. Longhorns pick up enough for a first down.
Look, I realize on any play call, when it's properly executed, it can go to the house for a touchdown. But the runs that really make a game plan work are the ones where you get just what you need. And he barely got the first down, but he got it.
The Longhorns starting a new series here on 1st and 10. Off an RPO, the quarterback looks to his right.
Anytime you have a chance to get this wide receiver isolated and get the ball in his hands, you do it.
Offense getting set. It's 2nd down. There's the tackle, but first down yardage.
Well, it's so easy to get caught up in the receivers and the quarterback, and your eyes get lost, and forget about the running back. Nice catch and a first down for this offense.
Offense comes up to the line. They might have a chance for a couple more plays before the quarter expires. So, Kirk, we reached the end of one. So far, a defensive stalemate here in the early stats illustrating the story. As we get lined up here for quarter number 2, we'll see if the offenses can get going. They didn't do much in the opening quarter. That's the wide receiver coming in motion now. Play action here on first down. Touchdown, Longhorns.
Oh, just outstanding execution here by this offense. The offensive line gives the quarterback time, and the quarterback's anticipation was on point. Puts that ball right in the money. The receiver, all he had to do was turn and catch the ball for that touchdown.
Now the all-important extra point. PAT is good, so it's 7-0. Kickoff team on the field getting set now. Bringing it out, it's Bell. Tackled at the 14. Not very good field position to start here. And the Georgia offense is back out on the field. We'll see if this quarterback can shake off the interception he threw in the last possession. Keep it on the ground. There's the handoff. It's a nice gain. He'll move the football up to the 27.
It was a nice job up front by the offensive line, but give the running back an assist for setting those blocks up before he's able to get downfield for the first down.
First down and 10 now. Tailback takes the handoff again. They'll tackle him right at the 31.
When you can get good chunks of yardage like this on early downs, it just keeps you on schedule, leading to more manageable third down situations. Never underestimate the value of consistently getting 4 or more yards a pop like that.
The gain makes it second and medium. Scanning the field, it's back. And a short pitch and catch to the tight end. They bring him down, but he was fast enough to get that first down yardage.
Really good route here by the receiver, but I love the quarterback's ability to look off that safety and make that throw. And that's part of the quarterback's job here when you play in Athens for this Georgia offense. They've had some great quarterbacks over the years. Guys like Matthew Stafford and Aaron Murray, and more recently Jake Fromm, and of course Stetson Bennett, who won back-to-back national championships. And what they're seeing today from this quarterback, they got to be very proud of.
Quick throw to his receiver. And he pulls in the catch. And he picks up the first down before they get him to the ground.
Well, it's a big risk to play man-to-man coverage by this defense, and this time they get caught. Great timing between the quarterback and his receiver. You can see what can happen when that timing is right. Big things can happen.
New setter down to the offense. 1st and 10. Handoff in a single back formation. They'll stop him behind the line for a loss of 1. They don't block the defensive end and show some quickness, Kirk, getting around the edge that time.
Yeah, this guy's usually getting around the edge to put pressure on the quarterback, but he reminds everybody here that this guy's a complete package. Not only can he pressure the quarterback, but also he is very, very talented and shows you the physicality he has against the run as well.
Didn't quite get the playoff in time. It'll be delay of game.
Delay of game. Offense.
Quarterback unaware of the play clock. That'll cost them 5. 2nd down play coming up. Play action fake, looking to throw. Makes a quick catch. Heads out of bounds as a short gain on play.
Defenses all around the country have got to do a better job of keeping an eye on these little guys from the slot. They can dismantle a defense with their speed and quickness in the open space.
So the offense getting set. This is not where you want to be against this defense. 3rd and long. Back to throw. It's back. It's a short completion of the tight end. Defense stops him short of the marker. So now it's 4th down.
Really tight coverage here by this defense. Now, they give up the pass underneath, but do a nice job of rallying to the football to keep him short of that first down marker. And now we've got a decision here on 4th down.
The coach chooses to go for a field goal attempt here. He missed it. And after the miss, still down by 7.
Now, that's going to go down as an empty possession for this offense. No points as he's off target. Now you can see he's hanging his head. Poor kicker.
Okay, the Texas offense comes back out on the field. They reached the end zone the last time out, trying to do the same thing here. Pass is caught right near the sideline. What a catch. Does get the foot down. Offense keeps moving. It's a completion for a first down. And from the shotgun, an inside handoff. They stop him after a 6-yard gain. So 2nd and 4.
Just love watching this back run. Gets behind that offensive line, lowers his pads, and gets a nice solid gain.
The gain makes it 2nd and medium. Play action fake, looking to throw. But they can't make the connection. Ball's incomplete. Offense needing to keep this drive alive. It's a 3rd down play. Looking to throw. It's yours. Can't hold on. Good defensive play. Brings up a 4th down.
Well, they go to the air to try to pick up this first down, but it just wasn't meant to be. Defense was ready, made sure to force them into this fourth down situation.
So they'll send out the field goal unit to give it a shot here from very long distance. You know the kicker has good range, but this one is from 59 yards away. Field goal try, no good. He missed it. And after the miss, it's still a 7-point lead.
Man, I thought he hit that pretty clean. Good hold by the holder. Everything looked to be the way you'd like as a kicker. He just misses it, and the ball trailed on him and ends up hitting the upright.
And the powerful Georgia offense is back out on the field. No doubt the last drive was deflating. They had to settle for a field goal attempt, but missed it. Looking to throw it on first down. Grab behind the line. It's Etienne. Defense surrounds him. Just a short gain on that completion.
And they get some positive yards here, but just from sitting up here looking down, Chris, I kind of have a sense that they wanted a little bit more on that play.
The completion sets up a second down play. And the quarterback looking to make a play through the air. Sideline route, but he's out of bounds for the first down marker.
He runs out of bounds.
That's the 2-minute warning here before halftime as the offense tries to cut into this lead. The offense will set up. And it's incomplete. The defender arrived at the same time as the football. And now it's second down. Here's the snap, looking to throw. And he dumps it off to the tight end. They bring him down quickly, a short pitch and catch to get a little bit closer to the marker.
Third down coming.
Receivers are bunched together. Quarterback in the shotgun here on third down. Finds his man. It's Etienne. The defense stops him just short of the marker. That'll bring up fourth down.
Chris, great effort here by this defense to keep him short of the first down. Now they've got a tough decision to make here on this fourth down and short.
Out comes the field goal team to give it a shot. This is a long way out. They're going to trust the kicker from 56 yards out. Let's see if he's got the distance. And it's good from 56 yards.
Boy, this guy had plenty of leg here, too. Chris, you remember the days when a kick from 50-plus was a major accomplishment? Now these guys knock these out like they're almost automatic.
So they settled for 3 here, and now the kickoff. See if the opposing offense can answer before halftime. Fielded in the end zone. It's Golden. Solid coverage there. They get him at the 15. That's when the offense will take over. The Longhorns offense takes the field. Interesting position here. How aggressive do they get to try to add to this lead before halftime? The offense will take their first time out of the half to talk strategy here.
This play takes a little bit of time to develop. The quarterback shows outstanding patience here before he makes that throw.
Offense getting set. Second down play here. Dropping back. It's Ewers. The pocket breaking down. They trap him and sack him back at the 10. Timeout is called to talk strategy late in this close game with halftime approaching.
A really good job by this defense. The quarterback looked to be trying to work through his progressions to find his open receiver, but before he knew it, he's on his back.
From the shotgun, here's an inside give. So they bring him down. They tried to run for it on third and long. A cautious play call doesn't work. And the defense will spend their second timeout here to make some adjustments. Longhorns bring their punt team onto the field.
To kick it away.
And the coverage team makes the stop on this return. The guys up front lined up. It's first down. They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. Got him. He's sacked. The offense will quickly spend a timeout here after the play. Second down now after the sack. And the quarterback drops back looking for an open man. And the pass is too high, out of bounds, and not complete.
A lot of times college football, the game comes down to just a play or two. And that's a missed opportunity by this offense. I wouldn't be surprised to see them try to come back to that same play in the second half.
Challenging spot for the offense. It's third down and long from the 45. On the ground, it's Etienne. Defense able to stop him. It's fourth down now. Miller's going to wrap up the first half here. Let's kick it now to Kevin Connors with our halftime update.
Thanks, guys. Looks like we've got a superb matchup in Austin today. And it's been said football is a game of inches. And guess what? Based on the comparison between third down conversion rate today and the average yard per play, how can you argue that? I mean, the low-lying fruit is to look at some of the explosive plays we've seen and panic. But really, this game is going to come down to which team is more efficient when they have the ball and how they play when it matters most. For now, let's get back to the guys in the booth to start up this second half.
And the Bulldogs will kick this away to begin the second half.
Texas.
And here's the return from inside the 5. And he stopped at the 19. Good job by the coverage team. Okay, the Texas offense comes back out on the field. First play of the second half is a handoff. Tackle made on the play at the 29-yard line.
Well, here's the first play to start this second half, and it's really more the same of what we saw in the first half. Really no need to make drastic changes. What you were doing in that first half gave you the lead. Just keep working on it.
That run, good for a first down. The offense still rolling. Shotgun formation. Here's an inside handoff. Second down after that run on the previous play. Out of the shotgun, he'll hand it off.
A little bit more manageable, and that certainly has a lot of value.
Solid gain on the running play. Third down now. Scanning the field. It's yours. Pressure is coming. Oh, they've got him for a sack. A big play made by the junior.
That's exactly what the coach, I'm sure, talked about there at halftime, is the defense is going to be out there on the field first. We're down in this football game. We got to get pressure on this offense, come up with some plays, and get the ball back to our offense. And that's exactly what they have a chance to do now.
Longhorns will send the punt team onto the field. And he'll kick it away now for the second time. Bringing it back, it's Evans. And the returner brought down by the coverage team. And the Bulldogs offense is back out on the field. This has been a struggle so far for both offenses. Can they finally get something going here? Tackled behind the line. It's a loss of 2. Well, there's that excellent linebacker with a clear path just running downhill quickly.
You know, I think one of the great things about watching this guy play all year is his vision. He just has great instincts. That time the defensive line ate up all the linemen, freed up the linebacker to get into the backfield, and the result is a tackle for a loss for the backer.
And now they run the draw play. And that's a solid gain before the defense able to bring him down.
Boy, draws and screens are a great way to counter an effective pass rush. Allow those defensive ends to get upfield and then hand it off at the last second.
It's third down for the offense. Dropping back, looking to throw for the first down. And the junior gets home, making a sack there.
Nothing is more gratifying for a defense to be able to sit back and play zone and still get pressure on the quarterback with your defensive front.
The Bulldogs will send their punt team onto the field. Running it back, it's Bolden. And the coverage team able to bring him down. The Longhorns offense takes the field. They're trying to build on their lead. They were forced to punt on the last possession. First play of the drive, they'll come out throwing. Delivers from the pocket, complete over the middle. They make the tackle, but that pass creates a solid gain.
That's a good job here, staying ahead of the chains. Good pickup here on first down. The quarterback hits the safety valve that time. The big tight end. That'll bring up a second manageable here for this offense.
Pass caught, second down now. And a handoff as they run the counter play. And that will pick up a first down, a spot at the 38.
Just what a great battle here at the line of scrimmage. Good push by the offensive line, and the back does enough to be able to pick up the first down.
How aggressive will they be on this first down play? A pre-snap motion from the offense. On first down, it's play action. Looking for his big tight end. He makes the grab. That's a big gain before he goes out of bounds. It'll move the sticks, more than enough for a first down.
Nice play action call here by this offensive coordinator. You know, you can freeze those linebackers just for a split second. Usually that's going to give you enough room to be able to get that tight end behind them. And if the quarterback can make a nice tight throw like this, pick up some big yards.
A solid 8-yard gain brings up a 2nd and 2. Offense moving receivers around now before the snap. Tries the right with a quick throw. That's going to be incomplete. A lot of contact. No flag. Brings up third down. Looking to pick up the first down through the air. That one is incomplete. The defender was right there, and it brings up fourth down now.
How about the call here? They go with the screen on third down and short. You don't see that called very often. They're not able to even complete the pass, so no chance at a conversion. So we got fourth and short.
They'll pass from the field goal attempt. The offense on the field going for it on fourth down. Moving the receiver around pre-snap. Running through the tackle. Brought down to the 22. It's a first down, very near the red zone now.
Gutsy call to go for it, but it works. The quarterback and the receiver are in sync, and you pick up enough yards to move the sticks.
The Longhorns lining up here on 1st and 10. Motion by the back. Defense better adjust. Off the RPO, caught to the right. And he breaks the tackle on the way to a solid gain there.
One thing I love about this back is how he gets involved in the passing game. Nice catch here.
Here comes a crucial second down play. Every yard tough to find down here in the red zone. From the shotgun now, here's an inside give. Defense able to bring him down to wrap up the third quarter of play. So Texas has the lead, Kirk, as we break here for the quarter. We've reached the end of the third. Time is running out to cut into this lead. Let's check out the game stats before we go on. 1 quarter to go. Let's see if this sets up as a classic finish. An important third down conversion coming here in the red zone. And they'll get the first down yards before they finally bring him down.
That's going to be a first down, and really, Chris, kind of surprised here in the fourth quarter not to see this defense dial up some pressure. They're just sitting back in the base, making it relatively easy for the offense to pick up a first down on the ground.
So it's first and goal. The offense will try to milk the clock and add points if they can. Receiver in motion now. They'll try to run it in on first and goal. They'll stop him behind the line for a loss of 1.
Chris, I think we all kind of get caught up in third down. What's an offense doing on third down? But I think what's also important is how well do you defend first down. If you can hold your opponents to a short gain or a tackle for a loss, you throw the offense out of whack, and their game plan gets much more challenging to try to come up with that first down.
Gain of the morning. Brings up third and goal.
And they cut into this lead now on third and goal. To the air. It's yours. Looking to the end zone. And it's incomplete, targeting a man right near the goal line.
Interesting call here, Chris, to throw the ball on third and short. Unable to come up with a first down. Now here at fourth down, you got a big decision to make. Do you kick the field goal just to add to the lead, or maybe go for this here with a chance to drop the hammer?
So on fourth down, here comes a crucial field goal attempt. And the kick is good. Offense settles for 3 on the drive.
Well, they almost put a touchdown on the board, but instead they come away with 3 points.
They come away with 3 points on the drive, and now the kickoff team will boot it away. Fields it just outside the goal line. And he stopped at the 19. Good job by the coverage team. And the Georgia offense is back out on the field. They were held to a quick 3-and-out last time, looking to put together a positive drive here. First play of the drive, he looks left for a completion. Defense reacts quickly, a very short gain on the play. Second down after that run on the previous play. Movement here from the tight end. Quarterback looking to throw it on second down. Looking to set up a screen pass here. And they bring him down. Blockers not much help on the screen there. He's short of the first down.
Interesting call here, Chris, with a screen pass in the fourth quarter late in the game. I think they're expecting the defense to get upfield on the pass rush. But give the defense all the credit. Recognizing it, almost really anticipating that this screen was coming, and then rallying to the ball.
They're going to throw for it on third and short. Quick completion to the tight end. Moves the ball out across the 30, and that's good for a first down.
Chris, we get so caught up in these wide receivers and their playmaking ability and getting them the ball in space. And like the defense has to pay attention to them. Often too much attention opens up an underneath drag route like this, and quarterback makes a good read. Nice first down.
And they're moving the receiver now before the snap. Looking for some space. It's Etienne. They tackle him behind the line, a loss of 4.
And this defense has had a great game today. Here we are in the fourth quarter. They've done a nice job of taking the run game completely away, making it a lot easier to zero in on that quarterback in the pass game.
Getting set. Here's second down. From the shotgun, it's a handoff. And the sophomore able to bring him down quickly.
Tackle on the play at the 29-yard line. Third down coming.
So it's 3rd and long from the 29. Defense figures to bring pressure here. That wasn't alert enough. Didn't get the play off. That'll cost him 5 yards.
Delay of game. Offense.
Dangerous play call here after that 5-yard penalty. Here we are late in a close game. Crucial play coming up. 3rd and long. Defense is coming after him. It's a screen pass complete to the running back. Play never had a chance. Defense grabs him for a loss.
Man, really good job here by the defense, flying around, recognizing the ball is out, and then making a tackle short of the first down.
Dogs will line up to kick it away. They're going to kick it away for the second time. He's got some daylight turning on the speed. The coverage team able to bring the returner to the ground. Runner scoots out of bounds after gaining decent yards.
Chris, it's another nice pickup through the air. I thought they might be really just out to run the football here with the lead. But instead, they're electing to throw the football. Different routes, quarterbacks in rhythm. Really, it's almost an extension of their passing game.
2nd down after that run on the previous play. They'll use that running game trying to bleed the clock here. Longhorns are moving quickly down the field.
Well, good push up front here in this back. I tell you, he's got some outstanding vision to be able to find those creases, to be able to get positive yards, and here he gets the first down.
1st down here, the offense has time for one more play before the 2-minute warning. Linebackers trying to confuse this offense now. How aggressive do you get on 1st and 10? From the shotgun now, here's a handoff inside. They stop him after a 6-yard gain, so 2nd and 4. And now a timeout taken by the defense, trying to preserve as much clock as possible for their offense. 2nd down play coming up for this offense. An inside give now from the shotgun. Tackled, but only after picking up a fresh set of downs. And now it's the defense that calls timeout here, trying to get organized and preserve as much clock as possible. Longhorns line up on 1st and 10 now. Handoff heading left. Finding space at the 20. They bring him down, but an explosive play by this offense. Big game. And now a timeout taken by the defense, trying to preserve as much clock as possible for their offense. They're pounding away with the running game. It's 1st and 10. And the offense just takes a knee here.